Merry meet my fairy friends. Welcome into the fairy circle with Fairy Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me today. So first of all, I would like to apologise for this video being so late. I actually had made a video last week and then I made some critical editing error apparently, and I've been trying to revive it all weekend and it just hasn't worked. So I took it as a sign to do a new reading today. And secondly, I would like to say a huge thank you to Karen Kay, the most incredible fairy lady who did acknowledge the fairy readers like me on YouTube. She did this on the Witchcast, which is a Lucy Cavendish production. I've left the link on my Facebook page, and if you love fairies and spells and magic and enchantment, the podcasts witchcasts that Lucy Cavendish does are just beautiful, so full of love and guidance, and she's so humble and just such a wonderful teacher, and it's wonderful to listen to. So, equinox, how did you guys go? I looked back at my video last month, and for the equinox we got past lives, which was a unicorn card, and the first thing I channeled with past lives was that it was to do with the past things that happened to us in this lifetime. And the first thing that came up was relationships. I ran into my ex on the day of the equinox. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, it made me realize how we were never on the same sort of wavelength, and although he was a lovely guy, it didn't work out for a reason. And my current partner, I just have so much connection with her. The energy flows really well, and we have a really, really strong, deep understanding of each other, which I didn't really have with this guy. So it was a real nice confirmation for me that we weren't meant to be together. We were meant to meet for a reason and then go our separate ways. And of course, I can say this now not being too emotional or traumatized, because it's been 5 years since we broke up. So coming from a good healing place, because it's been a few years. So October, we've just had the super new moon again, and I have found it really, really powerful for the whole of September. I've found that I'm really reassessing things in my life, the things that I want, and I finally got myself in a good financial position for the first time. As a Gemini and an air sign, I can be a little bit wishy-washy and also a bit impulsive with money. And although I've always been extremely responsible, having really understanding where all my money is going, what I'm spending it on, and what I need for certain things has really helped me and actually empowered me. And that's something that I don't think that I had ever really associated with responsibility, was empowerment. And it's been such a great lesson for me, and I'm really excited about it. So October brings us the full moon on the 14th, another new moon on, well, of course there's another new moon, follows the full moon cycles, on the 28th, and of course we have Halloween at the end of the month. So Halloween for me is only really new. Being Australian, we didn't really celebrate Halloween. I never celebrated Halloween as a kid, and it was always sort of seen over here as sort of an American tradition, even though when you look at the history it's not. It does come from the UK, but it was definitely, no one did pumpkins, no one came around, no one trick-or-treated or anything like that. And I've noticed in the last sort of 10 to 15 years things have started to really change, and it's really so lovely to see all the kids dressed up and, you know, excited, and so nice to meet all the neighbours and stuff like that. And there's still areas that don't really do Halloween here. There's some areas that do. Generally the sort of notice like the sort of newer estates because there's lots of kids, but it is really fun and I do enjoy it. So I thought we would do a reading today to encompass all of everything that's going on in October. And I have been guided to The Wild Wisdom of the Fairy, of course, by Lucy Cavendish, but also, which wasn't in my last card reading that I had to delete with the critical error of editing, was the mermaid cards, and they really wanted to have something to say today. And these are Oracle of the Mermaids by Lucy Cavendish as well. I use Lucy Cavendish's cards because I feel like they encompass energies of everything, not just, you know, light and happy, which is great for sometimes, but also we need to get a heads up of sometimes the unconscious things or patterns that are hurting us that come up. So I've also been drawn, because it is Libra season for October. My partner is Libran, and Libran is all about justice, but also about balance. Now I've noticed with my partner, she can be quite extreme with her balance, and I really got drawn to the fairies, who are much more known as an air element because they fly and they have wings. Not all fairies have wings, but they're known as more of an air element. And of course mermaids are more of a water element, so they're quite opposite, which is also a bit Libran. So I'm really excited to see what's coming up for us this October. So if you'd like to take some deep breaths with me, and we'll connect and really use your intuition. So whatever cards I pull up and say, this is how I feel about us, if you're getting a different feeling or the card means something totally different to you, definitely go with that. Your intuition is much stronger than anything else. So, you know, absolutely take that on board. And also, this is just a guidance. And if you're finding that you are getting messages to do something that I haven't said or I haven't brought across, then that's definitely your own guides, whether they're fairy guides or angel guides or whatever, your intuition telling you about your path. Okay, so if you want to take 3 deep breaths with me. And we step outside the world that we know, the reality that we are in, and we enter the betwixt and between of the fairy, where enchantment is possible, anything is possible, bending of time is possible. For their wisdom, guidance, and knowledge. Okay, so lovely fairies, what is our current situation with October? Okay, straight away. So what's come up is her special place. So this is pretty self-explanatory, but what I'm getting is creating really straight away is about home, is making sure your home represents your personality. I've noticed that a lot of home renovation projects on TV are a bit soulless. So although they may look absolutely stunning, sometimes the personality of the house and the personality of the people in it can be taken away. And it's really important to have you in your house and what's special to you and what's sacred, because it does create your energy as well. I also feel like this card is about decluttering. So really the season in October, I feel like it's balancing your house and letting go of things that you don't want anymore. It's so easy to put things in a cupboard and shut the door and not want to deal with it. I think sometimes the thought of things and doing things can be quite overwhelming. I feel like this is also time to get rid of unwanted energies in your house, so doing some clearing. Some people use sage. I'm not a big fan of sage, only because I've had my heart double lung transplant and the smokiness of the sage really affects me and I get a little bit worried about my lungs. I use Reiki energy to clear. I also use, because I'm Reiki trained, but I also can use I've got organic lavender and rainwater in a spray, so I give the room a bit of a spray that also clears. I do have a Reiki energy incense. I don't feel like I get affected as much by incense, so that's nice to clear. But really making it your own. And I feel like, especially if you're renting like me, it is really hard because there's already so much energies in the rental properties, because a lot of them do have a high turnover. But really make sure that you have the things that are sacred to you, whether it's symbols around you, that's important, whether it's, you know, photos of your loved ones. Make sure it's somewhere you just cannot wait to get home to. Wherever you are, whether you're at work or you're out, you're like, I just want to come home because the energy here is so nice. I also have a feeling, when you look at this card, she is on a little lotus leaf, sorry, but I have a feeling plants are going to be really important. I feel like they're acknowledging also my little orchid here, which has bloomed. I'm so excited about it. I have been nurturing this plant. I did nearly wipe it out by overwatering, and I had to Google what I was doing wrong. But it's come good, and I feel like it's in my little fairy corner with a little fairy house, and my little fairy sits with it, and it's really doubled the blooms from last year. And for some reason, possibly a fairy thing, I cannot tie it up because I feel like I'm restraining it, and I just prefer it to flower and go wherever it chooses. And as you can see, it's still budding, so that's pretty exciting. Sorry, a bit off topic, but that's okay. This is also about energy healing. I feel like this has been, last month was really about energy healing as well. But we're still not 100%, and there's still some things we could improve. I feel like this card, it's coming back to a sacred place where perhaps someone has been hurtful, and you just want to come to a nice space where you can just clear your thoughts, clear your mind. For some of you, home may not be the place where you want to be, and that you will need to create a special place in nature to go to. So the vision I'm getting is like a beach, or for me, I do have a certain tree in a park sometimes that I go to. I feel like it has really special energy, and making it your place where you just can kind of go where no one else knows, and not telling anybody else either, because sometimes when we tell everyone, the sacredness goes. So that's our current situation, and I just get a feeling of doing a really simple reading for October. I feel like there's so much going on for us that we just needed a little bit of simplicity. And the mermaids would like to show us our healing path from this. Okay, straight away is transparency. So sometimes being genuine is a bit harder for some of us. As a Gemini, communication is my forte, And I'm very, very good, and most Geminis are very, very good at telling people what they think they want to hear. And they can be very charming and very sweet and all that sort of thing. But this is, I'm getting a really lot of energy here. Like I feel like someone, like they're touching the card. Obviously this is really a heads up for me too. But being honest and genuine, you have to be in the present moment to really be able to do it. Sometimes when we're afraid or trying to protect ourselves, we'll go, oh yeah, I'm happy to do that, when you're not really. You just don't want people to think you're impolite, or you don't want people to think that you are not a kind person or anything like that. Transparency is about really seeing yourself grow and being authentic to yourself, making sure you do the things that mean a lot to you. If you're surrounded by people who are going to make fun of you, don't tell them what you're doing, because that hurts your soul. I almost, when I look at this card, I almost, like her hand is coming and curled, but almost feel like she's knocking. And I feel like she's like knocking, like, hello, who's there? As in, you might think that you are presenting yourself in a way that you want people to see you, but they can read your energy and they're seeing that perhaps you're not being as genuine as you believe you are. And wow, I'm really getting a lot of energy from this card. Just give me a sec. I just want to, it's moving in my hand. I feel like there's someone holding it. So, so what I'm getting is, when you're not genuine, people are seeing through you, even if you think that you not have them fooled necessarily, but it's time for you to come out. It's time for you to be genuine and honest, and you will be more appreciated than you think. People would rather you be honest and genuine than tell them what you think they want to hear and then get resentful about it because you couldn't say no. Take your time to make decisions. If someone asks you to do something that is not really something that you want to do, make sure you just say, can I just have some time? I have to check something, or I just have to, you know, you can make an excuse, or just take your time to decide about what you really want to be genuine and honest with and why. So they're two beautiful cards. I hope that they've helped you. And again, I'm keeping it very, very simple for this reading, just because that's the energy that I'm getting. I also feel like things are going to start really ramping up towards Christmas. I feel like this is going to start happening around the full moon in October, which is the 14th. I feel like people are going to say, oh my gosh, it's only will that be 6 weeks? No, it'd be about 2 months till Christmas. Getting ahead of myself. It's I'm trying to calculate it in my head. It's about 10. I think it'll be about 2 months till Christmas. Then maybe two months and 1 day, 1 week or something. But I feel like people are start going to ask you, and then the old fears, anxieties, and that are starting to come up. So I think what you want to do is really decide now what you're doing for Christmas and how you're going to approach it this year, because it's not actually Christmas that's the problem. It's everything to do with it, whether it's who we're spending it with, it's all the stuff leading up to it. It makes so many of us stressed and anxious. So this is your opportunity this year to really take it on board and make it what's meaningful to you, what's best for you, and how, if you can't avoid someone at Christmas that you really have issues with, how to deal with it in the best way. Okay, my lovelies, have a wonderful October, and make sure you make your home special, and make sure you are feeling your self-worth and that you can be honest and genuine. Even someone else's reactions are their own reactions, and that's nothing to do with you. Okay? Alright. Merry part, my lovelies. I will see you in a month. Keep up with my Facebook and Instagram. I do post things from time to time, and lots of love for October. Merry part.